into it like full like new thing, not knowing what to expect. So yeah.
So why cassettes?
Um.
Just a kind of a romantic thing. There's
Yeah.
something nostalgic about
Yeah.
those old
I don't know.
mediums.
It's like a lot of like it's a lot of bootleg, like really like underground, like punk shows, like old, like concert recordings. People recorded them on tape players, on cassettes, and you can find those at record stores and stuff like that. Like I feel like it's more of a niche thing. Vinyl collecting got
It's
like
big
so
now.
big, yeah,
And I
and
don't know why it came back, but it came back
yeah.
hard.
Oh,
Everybody likes vinyl
big
now.
time. Yeah, I started collecting back in like 2019. So, yeah, I was part of that wave, I guess, of people like all of a sudden like caring about vinyl again or something. So,
I think COVID had
hmm
a little part in that as well. People were stuck at
definitely.
home,
You
got
want that
nostalgic,
physical, you want that, listening to songs on Spotify only does so much. You want that physical item.
and there's a sound
Oh,
difference.
yeah.
I don't know if that's just how we interpret it.
I think, see, that's what I was trying to figure out. Is there actually a sound difference, or have people just been saying that for so long that everyone just kind of ran with it? Like, oh yeah, it sounds better, you know?
It's the
I
cool
don't
thing to
know.
say. Oh, you gotta play this on vinyl.
Oh yeah,
Sounds a lot
yeah,
better.
it sounds a lot better, That's I don't even know. Yeah,
So you've been into music for some time then.
I mean, I always tell, like, I don't know the official time, but like, since I was like 8 or 9, I started writing music, started writing raps just out of my bedroom. I was like a little kid, like 8 years old, and I was like watching like a Lil Wayne music video one day or something. I'm like, you know what? Like, he could do it. I could probably do it. It doesn't seem that hard. So I started like writing raps, and obviously they weren't very good at first. Some people might say that they're still not very good, but that's just, music's subjective, so you could like it or not like it. But yeah, I've been doing it for a long time.
Eight
Yeah.
years old.
8 years
That's
old. Yeah.
crazy. Did you
Yeah.
know that this is what you wanted to do at 8?
Just about, yeah. Before that, it was like the typical like little kid thing, like, oh, I want to be a basketball player. Like, I wasn't fucking self-aware of my physical
I
condition
could be
yet.
MJ. I
Yeah,
think that's in the
I'm like,
cards
I
for
could
me.
do that watching Kobe. I'm like, I could do that, but I obviously can't. Um, but the music thing, I'm like, I think that's still within reach, as I got older. Like when I was in high school, it's like I don't want to fucking go to college. Like I want to do this. Like I already had it figured out in my head. It might be unrealistic. People might have their opinion about it, but yeah, it's what I wanted to do since I was pretty young.
People love to have their opinions when you
Mm.
say, "Yeah, this is what I want. This is what I want to
Oh,
do with
oh
my
my!
life."
I love telling like older people that I like make music and I create content and do stuff like that because they just look at me like, oh wow, you keep dreaming there, buddy. You keep, like, sure you do that. But when reality kicks in, you need to get a real job. And I mean, I have a real job, but hopefully someday this will pay off.
What's your real job?
I work at a thrift store. It's nothing glamorous. It's something to get some extra money coming in. So
It's a
yeah,
cover until your rap career takes off.
exactly,
You gotta have a
exactly.
humble beginning. We all start
Yeah,
there.
and fucking the TikTok shit, they banned me and shit. So,
Yeah, Andy was telling me about
yeah,
that. Actually, that's how we got
yeah,
onto you. Andy showed me some of your stuff.
yeah.
What happened with TikTok? Because you were pretty big on the platform.
I was a pretty big like creator. I mean, I still called myself a smaller creator, and I think part of that was just because I live in a small town and like, I think of myself as just like a normal person. But yeah, I had like 1.4 million followers and shit.
That's a
And
lot of people.
yeah, it's a lot. I think of it like this, like Eureka's got what, like 28,000 people in it, and it's like when I had 28,000 people, I'm like, damn, that's like the size of Eureka following me. So it's like 1.4 million is like a fucking lot.
That's a
But
lot of
yeah,
Eurekas.
a lot of Eurekans, a lot of Humboldt Countyans. So yeah, Humboldt County people. But yeah, 1.4 million followers basically just taken from me overnight like that. And
And why?
basically, TikTok didn't give me an official reason, but when I looked at my community guideline violations, sorry, it showed me that within the span of a couple minutes, I had over 100 videos reported and taken down. So I'm chalking it up as a mass, like someone like, it's like a targeted thing, like someone was going through and reporting my videos. And that led to TikTok kind of sees that, and instead of looking at it like an actual person, like with common sense, looking at it and being like determining if what I'm doing actually violates the guidelines, a bot basically sees that, oh, this person's getting reported a lot. They must be doing something bad. And they terminated my account just like that.
Do you think it was a like a bot wave where people it wasn't
It
even
cou-
real
it cou-
people, it was
or
just bots?
it could have been that. I don't know. People are, I haven't made any enemies or anything. I don't have anyone. I think unless there's this. That's the thing. Is like the what I chalked it up to is like just some. There's people out there that fucking hate disabled people for no reason other than the fact they're disabled, and I'm like, it could have just been some random person that saw me and was like, I don't like that this person's thriving and succeeding, and had my account taken down. And or it could have been, yeah, like someone could have had known. I don't know anything about any of that shit with AI and bots, but someone definitely could have done something like that, like just had a bot mass reporting my videos,
Well, 100 videos in
over a hundred. A hundred's
over a
like,
hundred in a
yeah,
few minutes is an insane amount.
yeah, like that.
That seems
Yeah, it doesn't
like a
feel
concerted
like
effort.
I was going more like paranoid conspiracy theorist, like route, like, oh my god, there's this higher, this like secret society of people that are against me, and they're all just sitting there
Started watching
reporting all my
QAnon
videos.
videos.
Exactly, yeah.
I'm in. I'm sold
I'm like,
now.
I'm getting banned on TikTok. I'm just gonna go full fucking like conspiracy theorist, like wackadoodle, fucking crazy person. But no, it probably was like a robot or something, some AI shit. I don't know.
And could you dispute that? Could
Oh,
you?
yeah, that's the thing is I tried. They let me submit a mass appeal, like a appeal to dispute all the videos at once. And I did that probably a day or two after it happened because I didn't notice like the button was there at first. I was like emailing them all pissed off, like frantically, like give me my account back and shit. Um, but then when I saw that button, I just pressed it. I gave my reasoning. I sent it off, and that was a month ago, and it's still in review. It's still like left. They basically left me undelivered. They're not. They're ignoring me
From TikTok.
from TikTok.
That one's got to stay.
It fucking stings, dude. I was down in LA a few weeks ago, and I was like, I gotta just go by their headquarters and start protesting. I don't know. Like I'm out of options at this point because it's like they basically left me undelivered. I've emailed them. I email them every day. It's a daily routine at this point. Maybe I should switch it up, but I have a very well worded, very strongly worded paragraph. I copy it, send it to him again. No response at all. I got a response once, and it was a robot, like an automated response, like, well, your account has been taken down because you have too many community guideline violations. And it's like, you're not reading what I'm saying. I'm literally telling you, yeah, I have all these violations because someone, like, had my shit taken down. Like, it's not, like, all the videos, like, they're harmless, they're not anything. Like, yeah, my comedy could be, I make a couple dark jokes about my disability. I do some shit like that, but it isn't in violation of any of their community guidelines. It's just dark humor, me making a joke about myself. And so it's like, I don't know, it's like there's no human communication going on between me and TikTok. It's me basically just yelling,
You're
yelling in the
screaming into the
wind.
void.
Exactly. I'm yelling into the void. And it's like, what else is there to do at this point? So I don't know.
That's what worries me about people, getting canceled.
Yeah,
Is what can you really do? You have no power against these companies,
I
especially a
know.
company like TikTok. They've
Like,
got so many people on that. They
yeah,
don't care.
they do not care. They just go on to the next one. There's no transparency. There's no real like hospitality or human connection. It's all just like numbers. All they care about is the numbers. And I'm not gonna lie. Like before I got banned, like I wasn't like. I'd go through spurts or like I'd have a couple videos do like good, like couple million, but like I was like on average like getting like 20 to 50K views a video, which was still like a lot of people, for me. But it wasn't like it used to be, and the way I saw it is like, oh, they're like, oh, this person's not making us the big bucks anymore, we're just gonna cut him out of the equation and go on to the next person. So, yeah, but I'm still like on the platform. I have two other accounts that I post on, but like it's like very seldom that I get a lot of views on those
Is that just
accounts.
because of the grind of putting all that work into your main account?
Yeah, oh yeah, totally. Like I neglected the other two accounts for so long that like now they're seen as smaller creator accounts and TikTok, that's the thing. That's the other thing that pisses me off is if you're a smaller creator and you want to get out there, they want you to pay to like promote, they're like, "Oh, we have the TikTok promote feature. It's how you reach a new audience." And like what they don't tell you is it's like $20 a day or something to fucking promote your shit. And it's like they just want money. They don't care about anything else, and that's the truth with a lot of these big social media companies. Like people like me that have an audience like that, like 1.4 million followers or whatever. Like we're probably making them so much money by putting time and effort into creating videos on their platform, and they pay us like it's literally they're paying us pennies to the dollar. When you make a dime, your boss makes a dollar type of shit, and that's how it is with TikTok.
Does TikTok pay creators directly?
Yeah, they do. It's called the Creator Fund, and actually, when I first started on it, it was a smaller thing because this was like 2 or 3 years ago. This was pre-COVID and shit, so it wasn't like as big of a, or no, it wasn't pre-COVID, but like,
Right around the start.
or right around the start is when I started making content and being able to make money. It was like May of 2020, so like, around like it was just picking up and shit. Um, and like around I didn't really see it start to pay off till around November when I really started blowing up and I was gaining like hundreds of thousands of followers a week. Um and um yeah, and like when I was like at my peak and stuff, like I want to say around from November to like February or March of 2021, like that was when my content was like, I was like, because it's always like there's a new guy on TikTok. Like when you're on your For You page, there's a new funny guy or funny girl or funny person that you see pop up on your thing and you're like, oh, they're funny and they're gaining millions of views for their videos and stuff. And there's a time where I was that funny guy on TikTok and gaining all the views and shit. And it was paying well at that point. Like it was good. And then
What are we talking? How much are you making from TikTok?
best month. So this is like they pay you monthly, and it's not like crazy money. That's the other like I'm talking it up like it's like I'm making like six figures, but it's not like crazy money. But like for someone like me that's only worked minimum wage jobs, it was like 2 grand a month, a couple grand a month. So it was like the same as like if I was putting in 40 hours a week at a job and I'm just making some stupid videos from
Which is
my
a
bedroom.
great trade
Oh
to
yeah.
just make
Oh,
TikToks or
oh yeah.
go work 40 hours at a job
Exactly,
you
and that's
hate.
how I was seeing it for a while there. Is like I was like about to go begging on my hands and knees back at my old job that I had before COVID. Like take me back. And now it's like fuck. I'm on TikTok like making these stupid videos about the fact that I can't take a piss standing up. And I'm fucking making all this money and people are eating it up. It's like I'm fucking loving it. And on top of that, there's branded content, which, like, isn't my favorite. I honestly fucking hate making videos for other people. I hate making branded content, but, like, that brings in money as well. Like, I've been offered, like, couple thousand to promote shit, and it's like that's like easy money right there. Just wave a product and you get some money, but it's like I don't know. I don't like making content for other people. All the shit that I was doing, like yeah, people ate it up and it like encouraged me to keep doing it, but I was ultimately doing it for myself because it's like you know, we had COVID going on and shit, and I'm just in my bedroom losing my mind. It's like, it's more fun to go out and make a stupid video and make a stupid joke, make me feel better about myself, even if what I'm saying is like, this dark shit about my disability and whatnot. Like, it's still like, I'm fucking loving every second of it, and that's how it was. Like, I honestly, like, I hope you like doing what you do with this like content creating shit with this podcast because like I miss like genuinely enjoying making videos because I mean now with being banned and even a little before I got banned, like I wasn't enjoying it very much, you know. Like I wasn't like all the fun had been taken out because it was like I was starting to question who I was doing it for. Like was I doing it for myself and because I enjoy it, or was I doing it because I once had this momentum and I was trying to keep it up and like get it back, you know?
You hear that a lot.
Yeah.
The idea when people blow up and their shit starts really taking off, and then they kind of are a prisoner to that.
Yeah.
Then they're just doing these things that
Yeah.
maybe they don't want to do to try to keep up
Oh, totally.
that flame.
Totally, because they tell you in like on TikTok, like I had so many like other big creators tell me like you have a niche, like you calling yourself a retard and making a self-deprecating joke, like that is like gaining the views. You need to keep doing that and you need to like don't stop, like foot to the pedal, just like full speed, keep going at it. And I was like, I don't know if I want to like only do that, like that doesn't sound fun because then I make a video and I'm like promoting my album, like, yo, I made this like piece of art that I put a lot of time and effort into and I really enjoy it. Um, the algorithm's just like, nah, people don't want to see that, people don't want to see your little art project you made. They want to see you, fucking making fun of yourself. And so yeah, it could be a big like blow to your not only your confidence, but just your like passion, and your like drive to like create this content.
Well, and that's what's really interesting about your content is a lot of it was self-deprecating.
Yeah,
And that's weird why you were banned is, you were the butt of your own jokes.
exactly. And that's the thing is I'll scroll through TikTok, like I'm sure I could go on my TikTok right now and I'll see someone on my For You page that's making a joke, a dark joke or whatnot, that's directed at another group, directed at someone else, and they're not making themselves the butt of the jokes. Like, a type of content that I really hate, I'm not gonna get too off track here, but I really hate, little me drinking beer ASMR for the mic,
Little
the
something for the people.
little something for the people. People always want me to do weird shit like ASMR or like I don't know how many people have like unironically asked me to like start a OnlyFans or some fucking weird shit like that. But I give them to it a little bit. I'll show my feet on camera every once in a while, just for those like those oddballs that are looking for that type of stuff. Um, but anyway, the type of content that I really hate is like the shit where they're making other people the butt of the joke, and it's like there's like I'm not gonna drop names or fucking get you in any trouble, but there's like these dudes on the internet that'll like go out and like they'll go out in public and like moan in people's ears or just like harass people in public and shit.
I don't like
And
that
they're
shit.
no, it's fucking like they're not like everyone else is the butt of the joke but them, and it's like that type of content. It's just like I put myself if I was at a grocery store and someone came up and moaned in my ear, I'd be so fucking pissed off, I'd be like, and I'm a pretty easygoing guy, but like that shit was like, I don't know. It
The
just
ones that really bother me, I've seen ones where people pretend to be employees at a store and
yeah,
then go and fire another
yeah,
employee, and the
yeah,
person, breaks down because
yeah.
they need the job or they
And
don't understand what's happening.
it's
Why would you do
it's
that? Why are you
not
trying to fuck up
funny.
somebody's
It's yeah,
day?
it's not funny. I don't like gain like I gain um like I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but it's just not enjoyable to watch,
Yeah.
basically. It's
I
just
can't
like
imagine you get a good feeling
yeah,
doing that to
yeah, I
somebody.
don't I don't gain pleasure from seeing like other like innocent people that don't even know there's a camera recording them like like getting hurt. Like it's just not I don't know. I don't get how you have to be a pretty fucked up type of person to like genuinely enjoy that shit and like eat it up. And
I don't
people
even know.
do.
I don't even know if they enjoy it. The people that are making it. I think some people watch it and do laugh because
Yeah.
you're not the butt of the joke, so you can
Yeah,
laugh at it.
exactly.
I think the people creating it might just get wrapped up in that same thing of now I have to do this because I have to get the views, I have to get the
Yeah.
likes.
And that's definitely giving them the benefit of the doubt because like I've been there, Obviously it's a different story and like I don't agree with the content, but yeah, I like like my biggest video on the platform when I was on got 40 million views. It got 10 million views overnight. And it was a video of me. I was about like 5 or 6 beers deep, just sitting on my front porch. And I had it panned on my bare feet, and I go like wiggle, 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 and then I turn my camera around, and I'm obviously very intoxicated, and I say like I'm retarded, and that's just like the entire video, and people ate that shit up. People thought it was the funniest shit ever, for no reason. Like I went on the next day, and if it wasn't for the 10 million views I had got on that video, I would have deleted it. I'm like, this is dumb, but people were eating it up and following me, so that's how I broke 1 million followers. Actually, was that video, and I'm just like, this is the dumbest shit. It's like, I don't
So
know.
what was your time frame like? So you joined the platform. Did you start with that self-deprecating humor, or did you start with other types of
I
content?
mean, I was on the platform because it was called Musically before it was TikTok. It was a whole nother thing, and it was
Oh
mainly
shit,
like,
I thought those were two separate
no,
platforms. It was the
they
same
got,
thing.
yeah, it was the same thing. They got bought out by like another company, I think. I don't know my facts on that one. But like I think they got bought out by another company and they changed to TikTok. And at first they were still focusing on like lip syncing and like music and stuff like that. But people started using it ironically as like, oh, just like making ironic videos or like, satire, I guess. And I ate that up, and I started just as a viewer. And I was in high school, and me and my friends would make like dumb videos, and I think I made one video, um, my first video on the platform was, I think, I was in the car. This was like when I was in high school. I was a fucking senior in high school. I had zits like all over my face, and I'm in the car, braces on and shit. I looked fucking rancid. Oh, my phone's geeking out. And I was just like, oh, I'm about to come. And then I pan the phone over, and my mom's sitting right next
Oh
to me.
no!
And that shit got like,
Oh no!
that shit.
Oh, your poor mom.
My poor mom, and my mom endured a lot more. Like that was just the start, obviously, but like that video, that was in like 2019, and it got like 70K, and so I got like a little bit off of that. Like I think I gained like 1,000 followers off of that, and then I just like would do other dumb shit that like would get like a couple views here and there. I think I had another one where like I had the phone and like I grabbed a piece of ham out of the refrigerator and I went into my brother's room and threw it at him, and he looks up and he's like, "Why are you naked?" And then the video just cuts. And that was the type of shit that I was on like
So you were
really
just
early.
making funny
Oh
videos.
yeah,
You
I
were
was
just
just
having fun.
making funny videos, doing like stupid shit with my friends, and it was fun. And like I would get a video that would get like 70 to like 100K here and there, but I wasn't thinking of it as anything. I was just like, oh, this somehow blew up. I wasn't thinking of it as a career or nothing. And then I'd like promote my music, obviously, and do that, and that didn't do anything. That didn't gain like any traction at all. Um, and so that's how it was for me from like 2018, 2019 to like early 2020. And then yeah, when COVID started, like there's that like month or two where I was just like, I think I watched Breaking Bad for the first time and just was kind of laying in bed all day. And then I was just scrolling through TikTok, and I'm like, there's like some trends that were popping, and I'm like, you know what, like I feel like I could do this trend, but also add in like make it a joke about my disability and like make myself like the butt of the joke. So I started doing that, and it started like right away. Like I was seeing the payoff from it. Like May 2020. Um, Not money wise, but just like
In views.
views and followers and shit. And I just kept at it for like through that whole summer. Just like I wasn't like a grind at that point. I wasn't on the like mindset of like, okay, I gotta post like twice a day at these times and this to gain these many views. It was just like, oh, I have a video idea. Let's do it. Like my 20K followers that I have or whatever will like eat it up. Um, and so it was like that, and then yeah, in like it was like November, December of 2020, I started doing these videos where I would do like an outfit check, like a fit check, and I'd like like set the camera up, and I'd be like, "Yo, what's up, guys? It's Louis. I'm here with another fit check." Um, what was one that I said like something that like I know I'm disabled and like it might be a shocker that my legs work, but I could tell you one thing, my dick doesn't, or like something like that. Cause I was on Lexapro at the time, so like I was a limp noodle down there, So I was just like
You were just
depressed
having a
as
good
shit.
time.
Yeah, I was like on medication, making these fucking trying to find a little bit of humor in my life, cause like I won't even get into the like medication talk that shit just made me feel like nothing. So I'm like, these videos gotta make me, feel a little bit of something. So that's what I was doing at that time. And yeah, that's like what really started popping off for me were like the fit checks and like I'm like, okay, like I see a formula here. People are liking like seeming like it's like something normal, like oh I'm doing like an outfit check, but then just like hitting them with that like hard curveball that they're not expecting, and like a lot of the comments I get is like, am I allowed to laugh at this? Like this is like I don't want to get canceled. Like can I laugh at this? I'm like I'm the one that made the fucking joke. Like you can laugh, Like I made the joke. I expect you to laugh. It would be weird if I made a joke and no one laughed. No one likes doing that. So yeah, that was really how it took off, was those like fit check videos and this other videos where I was making this very dark joke that people weren't sure if they could laugh at. And yeah, so that's how it started, and I kept it going like that, and I got into like doing skits and other stuff, and just like trying to at first I stayed very topical. I was very up on all the trends and everything that was going on, so it was easy to keep gaining momentum. But I got like hella burnt out of doing all that, doing trend shit, doing like staying up to date, scrolling through TikTok. Just it was like studying almost, I'd spend like an hour or two every day just scrolling through, seeing like what other people are posting to be like, okay, what should I be doing? And I got hella burnt out of that because I'm like, this isn't like it got unenjoyable like really fast.
Yeah, it gets. I mean, a lot of people say that. I've heard with YouTube is they try to study the algorithm.
YouTube's hard. I'm still like I only have like 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, and I've only really posted music videos. I don't think that I would have like even that many if I wasn't posting music videos, but like YouTube's fucking hard. Like every time I try to make like a comedy video for YouTube, like a longer form video, I think part of it is being in COVID and just doing TikTok for so long. I got so used to like the short form under a minute videos, You don't have to like plan anything out super long term with that shit, It's just like, oh, here, stand here and record me saying this and then cut to this and then that's the video, It's not like, okay, we're gonna go here and film something and, go to this film location and we need to get this and this and this, because whenever I try to do a YouTube video, it's like I do all this planning and then I like start making it and I'm just like, I'm already burnt out,
It's
So
like a
it's like
film production.
exactly like that's why I'm so impressed with all of this. I'm like, damn, I would not have the time and energy to like put into like building a whole ass studio to make content.
Well, this is a lot easier in that we just
Right.
we just show up and sit down.
And
We're not,
talk. It's
yeah.
just we're just having some beers and talking. Sorry, I keep like yelling. I talk very loud. Maybe I should sit a little farther
No
away
worries. I
because
think
I just
how we doing on the?
yeah.
Oh,
How's
I
the
see
sound
Andy.
doing?
Andy's over there putting
I
in some
saw him
work.
turning knobs every time I would yell,
Yeah.
so I didn't want to. I don't want to hurt your ears too much, but
It's a
I'm not.
clipping thing. If you
Oh
these
yeah,
mics are, I mean, I don't know how to tell you.
yeah. No, I know. I
Clip
know all
out.
about all that. So yeah, it's all good as
So
long as.
when did the TikTok thing become a realization of, oh shit, this could be something? Like I'm starting to get some serious traction. Maybe I can do something with
When
this.
when the Khalifa followed me back on
No
TikTok.
fucking shit.
No, I'm kidding. Yeah,
Wow.
that
Oh,
was
I thought that was real.
no. She did follow
Oh,
me.
what?
Yeah, she did follow me. But yeah,
What?
she was probably the most famous
For people that
person.
don't know, would you like to say who Mia Khalifa is, just for our audience that
She is
isn't quite as educated on
she
the
is a
topic?
former. I have a lot of respect for her, so I will not. I don't know because I know she has a rough past with the whole porn thing. I know she got like didn't get paid a lot and all that shit, but she is a professional adult film actress and
So
a
she
she's
fucking followed
she
you.
followed me. She's cool, yeah.
Pull up how much she makes, because I think it was something
Oh,
absurd,
it's
like a couple
crazy. I think
grand.
she is on OnlyFans now, actually. So
Good for
I
her.
think
I
yeah.
think she only made, I want to say it was like
It was
under
like
five
it was.
grand.
I think it was like 20, like 20 maybe,
Oh, maybe I'm
maybe
way off.
20,
But still, for the amount of views,
12.
twelve
That's
thousand
about in the
dollars.
middle of what? Yeah.
Khalifa shattered any illusions regarding the pay in the adult film industry on Monday, saying on Twitter she received about $12,000 for about a dozen shoots over 3 months before she left the industry in early 2015. 12 grand.
12 grand.
1,000 a shoot?
I don't think I would not do porn for 12 grand.
I wouldn't. No.
We're gonna have to add a lot of zeros at the end of that.
You
Sure.
did it for free though. You showed your feet.
I do show my feet for free, and what I'm
But
told
that's
like
different. That's like branding. You're saying, hey,
it's
if you want to
branding.
see
It's-
more,
yeah.
follow and
There's
subscribe.
There's this picture that I flash a lot, like in random videos. It's like a jump scare where it's like picture of my foot with like spaghetti on it. Cause I guess one day I was eating spaghetti barefoot and I spilled spaghetti on my foot, and I just took a picture of it because I thought it was funny, and it ended up becoming a big part of my branding and shit. With like my crippled like bare foot with spaghetti all over it.
Andy, you already know what to do. We got to see that.
You gotta look it up. I'm sure. Look up Not Louis Spaghetti Foot.
So she follows you, and are you just shitting your pants? What's going
This
through
is
your
the
head?
first like big famous person to follow me, and I was like, oh, like you could probably find it on. I don't know if they'll let you watch those videos because that's on my account that is now deleted. Man, I could like email you a picture of it or something if you want to pop it up there. It's not that. It's not that. But yeah,
You have it on you right now.
I do have it on me. I gotta.
Send it to the Instagram.
Yeah.
Send it, yeah, send it to the Growing Pains Instagram.
I will
and
send that
he'll get
shit
it.
right now.
So she was the first person that followed you that just had that universal recognition of,
Oh,
I know who this is.
yeah.
This is somebody big.
Yeah. First, and I'm trying to think. I had a lot of people that like. What's the IG? It's Growing Pains?
It's Growing Pains NF.
Growing Pains NF.
Casual plug for the podcast right there for anybody that wants to follow that.
That's a very natural plug. That's good. Yeah. Growing Pains NF. Yeah, I got this shit like in my favorites, so it's just like ready to go whenever
You're just
I need
prepared
it.
for a moment like this.
Oh yeah. Big moment.
Hey, I got a picture you might want to see.
Yeah. If you're interested, if you're into something of the sorts, there you go. Very classic picture.
Image is blurred.
The blurred.
Tap it, and it'll reveal it.
Yeah, so that's like my whole brand right there. Is that image?
I
So-
popped that up for viewers, but I don't want
I'll
to get
I'll
flagged.
plug it in. I'll
You'll-
plug it in.
you
at the
get
end.
in-
Yeah, we'll
in
get
post.
pulled.
The boss
yeah.
might think it's something else.
So she follows you. Then what? Are you? What's
I just
happening?
messaged her like, hey.
Oh, you
thanks
hit her
for
up.
the- I just messaged her like, hey, thanks for the. I wasn't gonna be like big
Hey,
fan
if
of
you're
your
ever in
work, yeah.
Eureka,
Yeah, you're ever in Eureka, hit me up. I was like, hey, thanks for the follow back. And she's just like, OMG, of course you're like so funny. And like, I think I only hit her up that time. I wasn't gonna bug the shit out of her. But she'd like comment on my videos, like LMAO, and then all the comments would be like, yo, Louis, you got me a Khalifa in your comments, and you're getting that. And I'm like, no, I have a girlfriend. And I'm good, you know. Respect to Miss Khalifa though, you know, for following me.
so that's when you realized this could be something.
Yeah, when like big people started following me. That's basically what I was getting to, when like verified people and like, you know, like artists and stuff, like when they started following me, I'm like, okay, like I could make connections here and shit, you know, and I could like do that, and I have, and like I have like, you know, I've like made connections like on a greater level with some people, other people, like now that like I am banned, like it's like, damn, I don't know if I'll ever like get an opportunity to like message this person again, like I don't know if do you know what the H3 podcast is? They're like one of the bigger podcasts on YouTube.
I think I've heard about
Yeah,
them.
Ethan Klein. They've been on YouTube for a long time. He's like the other like one of the big people that like I was like a big fan of his work and stuff, and like he followed me, and I was like, oh my God, like, like this dude's following me and like hit him up and like they sent me some clothing and shit. And now it's like I got my shit taken away from me and I'm like, damn, I don't have that connection
Yeah, it's not
anymore.
like you have their cell phone
I
numbers.
don't know. It's like I have like he has my email, I don't have his, so it's like like fuck, there's like I messaged him on Instagram like, yo, I got my account deleted, like hoping that he could fucking have me on his podcast so I could talk my shit and maybe someone from TikTok would see it, but you know, I don't know.
We'll email this to TikTok
Yeah.
for you.
Oh yeah, you
I
never know.
wouldn't
They
hold my
could
breath,
just
but
no, but yeah. I
so when did it switch from, oh, this is, I'm doing this for fun, and then now I'm doing this because I need to get the views?
when the views started slumping and like I was chasing the niche, that people were telling me to lean into, because I started like there's a period from like November 2020 to like and even a little before that till like March or April of 2021 where like I was like I had music and I was putting it out, but I wasn't recording a lot of new music because I was like, oh, I'm doing this TikTok thing. Like, I'm trying to do this now. Even though music was like my main passion and like one of the main reasons I downloaded TikTok, other than for the ironic, like the shit posting and stuff like that. Um, I was like very passionate about my music, and like when I lost the passion for that, I gained the passion for doing the comedy videos. And then I started, when I started trying to promote my music and do other shit and the views slumped off, I'm like, ugh, I have to like lean into this niche now, to like even get views. And that's when it started becoming somewhat unenjoyable, when it started feeling like a chore and not just like a natural part of my day. Like, oh, like I'm bored, I'm gonna post a TikTok for fun. It's like, I don't really want to do this, but like my account needs the views and like I need to make the money in the creator fund, so I gotta do it. And that's when I started losing a bit of enjoyment for it. It definitely wasn't like full on like fuck this, but it was like, okay, this isn't as fun as it once was.
It started changing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that idea of chasing the dragon.
Yeah.
I think it hits a lot of people.
Yeah. It definitely hit me hard, and I've talked to a lot of other like people that it's the same. They're like, yeah, it kind of fucking sucks, but you just gotta do it. And I didn't like that. I didn't want to accept
That's
that.
shitty
Yeah,
advice.
yeah, like
Yeah.
you just gotta do it. You gotta lean in. I think I only ever had one friend, like one fellow like creator that told me like, don't listen to that. Like it's bullshit. Everyone else is just like, yeah, lean into the niche. You have to. You have to. And it's like, I don't want to fucking do that. And it's true. It's not even like they're giving me like bad advice. It's like that's how TikTok works. There's like, it's just like if you want to succeed there, you kind of just got to do it. And it's like that's what makes it not fun.
The idea of the niche, I have mixed feelings about that. I
I
mean, if
do
I
too.
listened to everybody that had advice for me on this podcast, it would look completely
Yeah,
different.
it'd be a totally different thing. You kind of just gotta. I don't know. I take all advice with a grain of salt. Good advice, bad advice. I just take it all with a grain of salt because at the end of the day, I'm gonna make my own decisions no matter what, and like I'm not gonna do something because someone else like told me it's the right thing to do. And that's why I stopped like going to college and like doing shit like that, because I'm like I'm not doing this because I want to do it. I'm doing it because it's like what my family expects of me, and it's like what most older people, most like grown people expect from me. They ask me what I'm up to, expecting me to be like, oh, I'm going to college, I'm taking classes, when really it's like, oh, I'm making music, like I just made an album, or like I'm making these videos on TikTok, and they're just kind of like, oh, okay then, like they're not. It just throws them off.
Well, they're from a different world.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
our parents, our grandparents, they come from a time when that was not, you couldn't even think of that as being
You
an
couldn't
option.
fathom it. It wasn't
They didn't
like
even have the internet.
yeah. So it's like they can't imagine like someone like someone like me like creating stuff and putting it out there and seeing like compensation for it and it having like an incentive, they're like that's like unfathomable for them. So it's like I don't I'm not hurt by the like bitter look or like the like thrown off a look that I get when I tell them that, but it's like I expect it. I anticipate it every time someone asks me what I'm doing, and I'm like, I'm making music, I'm making content, and they're just kind of like, okay, good luck with that.
I don't even say. I I get asked and I just say, yeah, I'm working.
Yeah, say
Just leave it at that.
at least say, if they really start playing this, say you have a radio show or something, because that's to them
That's my
that's
go-to
yeah,
because
yeah,
nobody. I'll say, oh yeah, if they keep pressing, or normally it's my parents will say, oh, he does a podcast, or somebody
and
around me
they'll
will
be
say
like,
that. I'll
yeah,
be like, oh shit, now we have
y-
to talk about this,
yeah,
and then you get the follow-up of what
dude,
is
yeah,
that?
yeah,
You just
that's
talk to. It's like a radio show,
it's like a
but you
radio,
can't
just
call in,
yeah.
and it's just you're in a room talking.
Yeah. Dude, that's how it is with like because my parents are very proud of me. They're like my biggest supporters and shit. And they definitely like they tell everyone what I do, and most people do not understand it at all. So like they like spread they everyone knows my business and shit, and like when people ask like, "Oh, what kind of music does he make?" They're like, it's like different, it's alternative," or like I even tell them to say rap or something, even though like rap is like putting it very loosely because I mix genres a lot and shit. So like I'm just like people like to ask questions and I'm just like they don't need to be knowing my business, I don't know. But I put it out there for anyone to perceive and interpret. So I guess even the older generation that might not come across it's got to know about it at some point.
How would you classify your music? Would you put it in a genre, or it's kind of genre
I
bending in
don't
that way that it goes across a
yeah,
bunch?
I don't like it's alternative, it's indie, it's rap, it's all like cloud rap, SoundCloud rap. Not SoundCloud rap in the sense of like the like face tat like, rappers like Lil Pump and shit, but it's like
Cracked out on
like
Wayne.
yeah, like it's like cloud rap like I emo rap, that genre is kind of like oversaturated and abused now. But it could be all of the above. It could, I don't really like explaining my music too in depth. Like I'll give it a genre to people that ask, but I don't like explaining my lyrics or explaining like too much about it because I believe ultimately it's up for interpretation. That's how it should be. That's how all art, everything that's created, you know, should be. It should be up for interpretation. And I do that with my videos too. Like sometimes there'll be like a line or a joke and people might be like, "Oh, I wonder what he meant by that," or like what's like is there like a satirical like is this a satire on something and I don't realize it. Like I like it I like for everything to be up for interpretation.
Well, it's gonna be that way
Yeah,
regardless, right? That's a
regard.
good mindset to have
Oh,
going into
oh,
it. Is
totally,
everybody's gonna interpret what they want from it.
totally. Yeah, and like I like to just keep it that way, and don't leave. Don't give them anything to just like. Don't give them like the easy way out of it. When someone listens to my music, I want them to interpret it fully themselves. I don't want me to like assist them at all. Like be like, oh yeah, I meant this when I said this in this song, this line. Like I want them to figure it out themselves. So yeah,
Good catch, Andy.
forgot to turn the
Forgot to
sign
turn on the
on.
light. You
Yeah,
beat me to the studio today. I was across the street, but we're gonna count that as that's the first one. How many? We're like 90 something in. That's the first time someone's been here before me.
and damn.
That's an
Yeah,
award. We gotta get you a little plaque for
I
that.
live. Hell yeah, yeah. I live pretty close. So it wasn't. I was like, fuck, I'm gonna be early. I hope they're not like in the middle of something else. When
No, normally Andy and I are just in here shooting shit,
yeah,
watching videos of yours, or
right.
watching somebody's TikTok, or watching music videos,
Mhm.
just hanging out. You got to get in the headspace when you're gonna sit down and talk for a little
Yeah.
while.
Oh, totally. I totally understand that. Yeah, I really like the vibe y'all got going on here. It's really cool. So.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah.
It's just a cool, relaxed space. That's the
Yeah.
most important thing. Is you want people to come in here and say, "Oh, it's gonna be cool. It's gonna
Yeah.
be a cool time."
Yeah. Totally. Hell yeah.
And so with your music, do you record music videos for all those songs?
Not all of them. I think I have like 5 music videos out on YouTube at this point. It's not a lot. There's kind of I make them for songs. Like a lot of times it's just me and my friends hanging out, and it's sporadically like, oh, let's make a music video for this song. Like I have a good idea, and we'll like go to a location or do whatever. There's always someone with a camera. Someone, It worst comes to worst, we shoot it on the iPhone. It's like, there's always some way to like create a music video like with just our natural surroundings. Um, and so I just make them whenever they come to my mind, whenever I have an idea. My first music video I ever made was for just like a random throwaway song that I have. And me and my friend were just hanging out and we were like getting fucking shit faced. His parents are out of town and we were just getting drunk. And I fucking puked and rallied, like I threw up. And then I was like, fuck it, we're gonna go, like, I'm gonna take another shot and we're gonna fucking record a music video right now. And I took a shot, took a bong rip, and we went and fucking recorded this music video. And it was pretty lit.
And so are
so
you shooting, recording, you're editing
Yeah.
all by yourself?
I do just about, like, I have a producer, shout out Corey, shout out Bumble Crow, that's the name he goes under. He's like a longtime friend of mine and a producer, and he's great, and he produced this entire album. And I have other homies that like produce and stuff too. So like I don't produce, like I mainly do the writing and like some of the mixing on my vocals and stuff. Like I have it mastered by Corey and like have it mixed a lot of times by him too. Um, but as far as like writing, creative direction, like I, had these CDs made. I went through a company, obviously, but like I had the CDs made like all by myself. Like I put the money that I made off my music and shit into having CDs made. So it's like, yeah, I'm pretty much just like DIY. Like me, myself, and I. Like I'll, pay for art every once in a while or pay for this or that. But yeah, I'm basically doing this shit by myself with like a couple close friends around.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
You
Like
get
I
a
don't.
lot more out of it that way.
Oh yeah. Thank
And
you.
you can keep it.
Is it cool to chief up in here? Oh hell yeah. I'm gonna break this open then. What strain is this? Do you smoke? Will you go
Yeah.
chief it? Yeah.
So, with your album, what was why a CD? What was the decision with that? Were you just thinking you wanted to have some physical version of it?
Yeah, so I mean, people say CDs are like kind of coming back, like the whole Y2K like style with like having CDs and having your Discman or whatever. Like, people say that that's coming back and that it's gonna be like the new thing. Like, vinyl was popping for a bit, and people say CDs are coming back. I also just already collected CDs. And I found CDs like to be a good like vinyl was too expensive and cassettes are too niche. So I thought CDs were a good medium where it's like not everyone but lots of cars will have CD players in them. It's not hard to find a CD player. It's a pretty accessible piece of media still. I feel like it's not too outdated. Like it is a little outdated, but it's not too outdated to where
It's not a
like,
cassette, like we
it's
were
like
talking about. You're
cassettes
still
are so outdated. Yeah, they're so
you're a couple
niche.
steps up.
Yeah. And so I just felt like I felt like it was like the move to do a CD. And I just like I said, I already collected them myself. So I kind of had that bias. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do a CD. And so yeah, that's
Can
why
I see
did
that?
Yeah, it's for you. You guys, like, I brought,
sweet.
yeah, it's a gift.
Now we're gonna have to get
Yeah.
a CD player.
Yeah,
now.
I didn't bring it just to wave it and
I
then
just
dip
hold it up
out.
in front of the camera.
Exactly, yeah.
I'm digging the artwork on you.
Yeah, one of my homies did that, and then I did the art on the back and on the inside, and yeah, that's like I have like at most like 3 people that I work with, 3 or 4.
I can't tell you the last time I held a physical CD. I might have been in.
Could be.
I might have been in. Maybe high school.
Yeah,
Maybe.
maybe.
I'm sorry. Did you say you did the artwork, or you had a friend that did that?
A friend did that one, and then I did like the art on the back and on the inside. Yeah, for sure.
That's badass, man. What is it like? I mean, this must be a gratifying feeling.
Oh,
to
dude,
finally have
it
your
was
music.
surreal holding it like in my hand for the first time. It was crazy. I was like that like when I got it, like I was almost like I don't cry often, but I was like I didn't cry and I didn't cry then, but like I was almost like this is like I created this and I made this and it's like in my hand. And I have 300 copies of it sitting in front of me and I don't know how to move them. So
300.
yeah,
What was the price for 300?
it's like $1,200. So like
Way
$4
more
a copy.
reasonable than
Oh yeah.
vinyl
Oh
for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah, and I've made a couple grand off my music, which is like once again like TikTok pennies to the dollar, because I got like songs that have like I think I have probably like 300 or 400,000 streams overall throughout all my music, and it's like
That's pretty good.
pretty good for a Humboldt County artist.
That's pretty
Pretty
good for
good.
anybody.
Yeah, yeah. Better than it's better than probably like 98% of people that put music out do, but like I'm not in that like 1% yet. I'm kind of in that middle ground where like I'm trying to break out to the next, to the upper class of music, and I'm not really there yet, but I hope I could get there soon.
Is the
Um,
1% that the percent that really can do it full time and sees the income
yeah.
coming in?
Oh yeah.
That's like with
It's
anything.
under 1% if even of people that can make music and have that like unless you're very good with money management and very like have like a business plan. I don't have any fucking business plan with any of that and I think I make it very clear like I'm going at this like all of this shit just like blind, like I'm just doing it like going in um but yeah, like sorry, what was the question?
Just
What was the
the aspect of you have to hit this height to actually be
right.
able to see some money
Oh,
coming
right,
from
right,
your
right,
music.
right, yeah. So like, I hope I could get there someday, but like I said, yeah, it's a very small percent of people that do
It's a
it.
hard
Yeah,
game.
it's a hard game. Same with content creation.
Just in general,
I
yeah.
was in that like upper percent of people when I first started with like the music or with the content and stuff that could actually like, do something big with it. And I obviously at my own like part of it is being banned and shit that I partially probably fumbled it a bit and didn't make the right like I should have like it's crazy. I talk to people that have like way smaller followings than me than I did have that like live in LA and like are like big time I guess and they're like, "Oh, do you have an agent? Do you have a manager?" I'm like, I have none of that shit. I'm doing this shit by myself. Like I'm in fucking Humboldt County. No one around here has a fucking manager. Like that's like unheard of. So it's like it definitely like those are. I don't know if I regret it because you definitely can go big time and transcend beyond TikTok without having a manager and without having an agent. But it's one thing that I guess that's one of my only like regrets, I guess, is that I didn't like look into that before I have my whole platform like taken from me basically. So I don't know.
Well, the question is, what could they do for you? What is a manager? I mean,
That one of my friends, one of my good friends, that has a TikTok and has a manager. He got banned much like I did, and they're able to set him up with a Zoom meeting with someone like a representative from TikTok that was able to reinstate their account within minutes. And it's like that is like the big thing is like
that would have been
that
handy.
would have
That would have been
been
nice to have.
very handy. It would have made this past month that I've been going through because it's been over, yeah, like over a month now that I've been banned on TikTok, and it would have made it a lot smoother if I had that resource. But that's really that, and just like other like connecting you with things that you might not be able to connect with, if you didn't have an agent or a manager. Whether it's like as much as I said I hate doing brand deals, I could have probably got much more like luxurious brand deals if I had a manager or had an agent or something that could advocate for me and be like, go had the connections to be like, oh, I have this client or I have this person that you might be interested in, and opened opportunities for me. But that's just a what if. This is a hypothetical at this point because it's like, not that I don't think I'll ever be able to get my account back because I'm still actively fighting, but if so, it's like in the past, and I'm gonna keep doing the music and like hopefully do YouTube, and I'm gonna stream on Twitch and do all sorts of shit. Um, so yeah, like life goes on basically. I'm still actively fighting to like get my account back, but I'm also not putting
All
too
your
much
eggs in that
all my
basket.
eggs in that basket. Like it's the end of the world if I can't get it back. Because one thing that I realize that's really important, I think that like a lot of times because I think like when I got ash on the
Oh,
table.
you're good.
Sorry.
You
Oh,
can
sorry.
ash in that if you
Oh,
want to. That's what
perfect.
these little nice little bowls are for.
I'm gonna ash this out. But one thing that I realized very quickly after I got banned was that that 1.4 million followers that I had, yeah, they followed me. They took the time to follow my account and say, "Hey, like I want to see more of this guy." But at the same time, they're following me in my most viral moments, and they're most likely following me because of those viral moments, not because like, oh, like I care about this person and like what they're doing, and I'm like a genuine supporter. You know, it's not just because I had that 1.4 million followers, that doesn't translate to actual like genuine support. It's just people that like decided to kind of stick around when I was in my most like viral moments, when I was like at my peak. And what matters way more to me at this point is like the people that like take the time out of their day to like listen to my music and like actually support me and stay up to date on everything I do. Like that genuine, like real support, no matter, you know, the number, it doesn't matter. You know, the amount of people, it could be 2 people, it could be 2 million people. That matters more to me than like the viral aspect of it at this point. And I'm trying to stay in that mindset. It's definitely hard because it is like a serotonin hit. It is like a, like dopamine hit when you get that viral video and it's getting millions of views and you're having like verified like famous people comment on your video like, "Oh my God, this is so funny." It could be a huge ego boost and a huge hit of dopamine, but I have to like keep myself grounded to a sense and be like, okay, is this really gonna matter in the long run, or is like the genuine like support for like the shit that I'm trying to do long term, like does that matter more? And like that's an easy question. It obviously matters a million times more to me than like any of that viral shit.
Real supporters are important,
Oh
or not
yeah.
even supporters, just real people are that care about what you're
Yeah,
doing.
yeah, like real people, like people that show up to my fucking shows that I do and shit. Like those people matter way more to me than like the couple people that comment, "Oh, haha, funny cripple" on a video of mine that did like a couple million views. Like that shit doesn't matter in the long run.
Are you reading the comments, or back when they were blowing up, were you digging into the comments?
So most most creators will tell you, "Oh, I don't read comments. It's a waste of time." That's fucking bullshit. I would read comments. I would spend a lot of time reading comments, and I got some of my best fucking content from reading comments because TikTok has that feature where you could reply to a comment with a video. And that shit was a game changer for me because there were so many ridiculous out of pocket comments. And I was like, I could make a whole ass fucking video on this comment right now. And I had one video. God, this is another one of mine that did really well. And someone commented, like, and I later learned that it was like a 12-year-old kid, and I kind of felt bad because I kind of like burnt the shit out of them. So, burnt the shit out of them. But they commented like, "Oh, you're really like, it really like sucks that like you're gonna die young because you're disabled without knowing anything."
Jesus. And this is coming from a 12-year-old
From a
kid.
12-year-old, from a fucking 12-year-old, and I'm like, at the time I didn't know this. I didn't take the time. Like someone had to tell me, like, "Yo, you realize that was like a kid that commented that," and I was like, "Oh shit!" Like I kind of feel bad, but I got a 10 million view video out of it, um, and I commented basically back being like, "Oh, they're assuming this out of me. Like they're assuming this without knowing anything about me, and this is really a sigh of relief because my doctors could never figure out what's wrong with me. I'm glad that this person could." And then at the end, I realized before I made the video that they had a dead relative in their bio. So I took the very low blow of like, at least I know soon that I'll be able to like be up with AJ. I'll tell AJ hi
Oh,
for
you
you.
went in.
I went in, or I was like, what shoes is AJ wearing in the casket?
I'll get him
Or
some
something.
nights to
Yeah,
bring with me.
yeah, exactly. I'll bring some with me. And that shit, it got on like fucking like out of pocket TikTok compilations and shit. I was like, that was one of my like most successful videos. And it came, I guess I'm no better than those people that moan. I
Well, that's a
really at the end
little.
of the day,
It's a little different.
yeah, I'm at moaning people's ears. I'm not even the butt of my own joke at
You're out
that
here
point.
flaming
I
12-year-olds.
know. I became the very thing that I sought out to destroy. Wow. I'm just now realizing that right now for the first time ever, so that's crazy.
Well, there's an argument to be made that if you're out here, especially if you're out here on social media and you're commenting,
Yeah, I guess
it's
they
fair
I
game.
guess I guess
It's
they
fair
did take
game.
the first punch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, whether they're 12 or 24 or whatever, they're still
Or
making the comment,
44.
or
If
40.
you come out here swinging,
Dude,
game
older
over.
fucking older people. I've had, for one, so many very old people hit on me in the comments, and sometimes they're the ones that are the most blatantly like, like, oh, this is why I hate disabled people, and I'm like, whoa,
Jesus.
whoa there, that's not any different than saying you hate another group of people, saying that's just the same as saying you hate anyone, like, that's fucking, you
That
wouldn't,
is so crazy
that
to
is,
just
yeah.
comment that on a
Yeah,
video.
yeah. It's
That's
like,
why I hate disabled
this
people.
is why I hate disabled people. And I'm like I've gotten that comment word for word. And I'm like, because there'll be a joke about how, like, I love joking about how I collect disability payments and use it to, like, buy drugs and stuff, which neither of those things are true. I buy drugs with my own
Yeah.
hard-earned money.
I work at a thrift store.
I
I'm
work
bringing in my own bread.
Yeah, exactly. I'm making my own money to buy these drugs. No, but like, I'll make jokes about how, like, oh yeah, like, I use taxpayer money to fucking, like, do this and this and that, and like, I serve nothing to society, and then some, like, old fucking boomer with a fucking MAGA hat on in their fucking profile picture will be like, see, this is exactly why I hate disabled people. And it's like, and ironic, and I'll like laugh at first because I'm like, I'm like, oh, this is totally someone posing. It's like a fucking like 60-year-old man, and I'll go on, and it's like, oh, this is actually a 60-year-old man. Like, this is fucking like get a life, bro. But I just end up making content out of those people's comments too. So at the end of the day, I'm making money off it, and they're looking like a fucking clown.
That's a good way to do it,
Oh yeah.
I think. Looking at it and just brushing it off, which is the important part, because a lot of people read those comments and internalize them, and then it becomes debilitating for them.
I've never let that happen, but I've also just faced a lot of that, like, in real life as well. Like, like, I reclaim words like cripple and retard, and, like, that's because I've been, like, called those words to my face. So it's, like, obviously, like, I'm gonna reclaim them, and, like, I learned a long time ago to, like, not take any of that to heart, because, like, it's like the classic thing they tell you about bullies when you're, like, a fucking kid. Like, they're saying that because they feel insecure about themselves, like, that's ultimately like what it is. It's like these people either have a lot of hate in their hearts, or like they're insecure about themselves for some reason. I heard that too. What was that?
Somebody, it might have been a mic. Normally, if
Yeah.
you get some interference from an electronic next to something, I don't know. Andy, it might have been your phone just a little too close to your mic there. Yeah, so you got a lot of that.
Oh yeah, like every day. Like I would wake up to new comments that were like not very nice. I'd wake up to a lot of very nice comments too, and I even made a video about that once. Like, I don't shed enough light. Like, I always am going for the negative comments to make content and get a reaction. And a lot of times those people are commenting too. That's the other thing, is people comment because they want that video to be made. So that's when it becomes like
It's
oh,
like a
why am I?
troll. It's a game.
It's like a cycle because I'm making the video to make them look dumb, but in reality, like they probably commented that because they're like, oh my god, this guy makes like viral videos off replying to like these hateful comments. I'm gonna make a hateful comment. So it's like a cycle, you know?
A shitty cycle.
Yeah, it's a shitty cycle, and that's another thing. Like, I loved replying to comments and making videos like that, and at one point, like, I stopped liking it again, or liking it anymore because I was like, why am I doing this? Like, it's just a shitty cycle of like these people at this point are commenting this because they know I'll make a video on it, and it's like, it's just the question. I feel like like, I'm sure you've felt that way too, where like maybe not because I think you make this content just to like have genuine conversations with people, but I think anyone that creates anything asks like, why am I doing this at one point or another, and like that is one of the biggest takeaways from like making content on TikTok is like I found myself with that a lot more than anything else, asking myself like, why am I doing this? Because I've never really done that with my music, or when I have, it's just been stupid self-doubt shit. It hasn't been like a greater question of, oh, is this really what I want to do? It's just like, oh, I suck. Like, why am I doing this? And that's just me getting in my own head,
I've had those moments where I get into my own head,
Right.
especially when you have with this. It's so variable. There's so many moving parts. Somebody could come on and maybe they had a bad day, maybe you
Yeah.
had a bad day,
Yeah.
and the interaction is just off or the conversation takes a turn.
Yeah.
I've never asked myself, why am I doing
Yeah.
this? I have asked myself, why are people watching this?
Right.
Like, why would you watch a 24-year-old kid talk to random people who's
It's
trying to just figure out his life?
People just fucking like
It's
whatever,
weird.
yeah.
It's weird in a way.
Have you had any like shitty guests on, like, or any like ones that you don't gotta name names, but have you had any where you're like,
I wouldn't say I have not had any shitty guests.
Uh-huh.
I have had difficult conversations, but usually it's. I always look back
different
on.
point of view or something, or
Yeah, or sometimes no, not even that. It's just. It's always me. That's been my MO. I always frame it in that it's never the guest. It's always something that I
Right,
did or I
right.
could have done differently.
right,
I've had conversations that are difficult. I've had guests, and I've had times when, personally, I've gotten riled up and
Right.
it gets a little heated and becomes unproductive. That's happened. Not an insane amount. Andy and I have. Andy's been here for a few episodes now, and he's witnessed that happen. And it's just you're talking about ideas, and
Yeah.
people get emotional about ideas.
Right.
I get emotional about ideas. You start getting attached to ways of
Yeah.
thinking, and then when somebody pokes that, you get defensive. And
Yeah.
it's a very, very human reaction,
yeah,
and something that just happens. I am constantly trying to work on that, and I slip into it.
yeah,
And so you do have that, which I have enjoyed every conversation that I've had. Some have been a little more painful for me. I
Right.
will say that.
growing pains. That's literally in your name.
I think
so,
somebody was looking out for me when I came up with that name because
Yeah.
I was not smart enough to come up with that.
yeah.
I don't know where it came from or why I got it.
You just woke up one day and were like, yeah, that's the name for the podcast.
I had a lot of growing pains in my
Mhm.
life, and my parents would always say, "Well, you're having some growing pains. This is going to
Yeah.
be a difficult lesson for you."
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, it
Yeah.
came to me,
That's-
and that was the
That's
podcast.
beautiful. I like that. That's a good name. So
But I go back and forth on comments.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes I think it would be nice, and I've tried reading them and responding to them because I want to build that community with people, and I think some of the people that are watching are those ones that genuinely care.
right.
And it'd be cool to have that back and forth dynamic of instead of them just watching this, they get to interact
Yeah.
on some level.
And there's more than just commenting, like replying to a comment on YouTube. You could like, like I have a Discord server, and like, you could do Discord. You could set up if they're like hardcore supporters, set up like a Patreon or something.
That's
like,
exactly what Andy's been preaching to me.
Dude, like I'm preaching it. I need to listen to my own advice on the Patreon one because I've had people asking me if I'd start one for a long time, and I just need to do it because I have like, yeah, like I said. that I'm like on this podcast because it's like it's a growing pain I've been going through of like okay like there's some things like now that I don't have this platform that like I didn't like seize and like I didn't like go all in with, but also like I'm trying to like keep my head up and keep going and not let that shit get the best of me because ultimately it's fucking TikTok. It's a short form video platform like Vine was, and look where Vine is now. And look how many like Vine stars like ended up like doing Vine and leaning into it way too much and then being nothing. You know, and maybe I should have took more of an advantage of the YouTube shit earlier on. And that's another growing pain of mine because I'm like, oh, I should have been making YouTube videos like a year ago. I'd maybe at least have like more subscribers and more of an audience to reach out to now that I'm banned. But it's like, ultimately I live and I learn and I'm gonna keep my head up even, you know, like there's definitely shit that I did wrong when I did have that platform on TikTok and I learned from it and I'm like it made me, it molded me into who I am now and it's gonna continue to, you know.
That's that's the way you have to look at it to
Yeah.
grow. The ego check is an interesting concept.
I'm yet to have a full-on ego death where it's just like I lose all sense of like who I am and shit. And I also haven't like I haven't dabbled in like psychedelics or anything like that that could trigger something like that. But I definitely have gotten close to having an ego death where I just completely just lose my sense of self and sense of like who I am and anything like that.
How did you come to that?
Like oh, just like a lot of it is like trying to put things through, look at it through different lens. Like, okay, like in terms of like my relationships and stuff, like how am I treating this? And like how much is like the shit that I'm doing worth it in the terms of like this relationship? You know, like um, and just like thinking like I guess thinking like in the long run like me putting this much effort into this one platform with like TikTok and stuff like how much is this gonna matter like 10 years down the road, like do I really want to like full lean on into being this like content creator like influencer person in like in 10 years am I gonna regret that, you know? And just like thinking like I don't even know, just thinking like about who I want to be and who I currently was, I guess it just like caused me to like really put things in a different perspective.
I have some worry with that in the sense that these moments that I have on this podcast are going to outlive me.
Right.
And more so than that, you know, what if my kids see this
Yeah.
someday and they see me at these different stages in
Yeah.
my life and they are interpreting me after I'm gone or while I'm still there, but at these points.
Yeah.
And people people like to hold you in place in time now.
Yeah.
And so imagine having a documentation like you do with TikTok where
Man, dude.
you are frozen in time at
Yeah.
these places where you think these ideas, you make these comments, you say these things, and in the moment it's one thing, but look at where we are now. And if you jump back 20 years, what people said is
Yeah.
not up to date with how people feel now.
Exactly, and that's ultimately what like. I think that is the biggest cause of any sort of ego death or any sort of blow to my ego, is just thinking about time in general, and like just like 10 years down the road, like I'm putting all this effort into this fucking video where I'm calling myself a retard or making some sort of self-deprecating joke. Like, where is this gonna pay off 10 years from now? You know, and thinking of the longevity of things and like what if yeah, like that's something I haven't put much thought into and maybe I should put more thought into is like how will it age like on its own because it will have a different life than like the life that I continue to live after I make it, you know, because it will continue to exist in this one like space and stuff and like in 10 years what if it's perceived totally differently, you know? And it's like I guess I hadn't like thought too much about that. Like am I gonna regret I guess am I gonna regret like saying this or that like 10 years down the road? And I guess that at the end of the day, like we've seen so many celebrities, so many people have old tweets or old things they said dug up. I guess at this point, if you're just like putting stuff out there, it's like a risk you have to take that like, oh, something I might say 10 years down the road will like be interpreted totally differently, or 20 years or however
It's not
many.
even a risk. It's
Yeah,
almost a guarantee
it's
at
a
some
guarantee
point.
that something,
Given enough time.
it could be the tiniest little tidbit, and it could be like that could be totally warped and like seen way different than it is now.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not necessarily worried about it. There's almost a weird acceptance around the day is going to come
Yeah,
in some regard.
yeah,
I and in some ways I think it's cool
yeah,
because my kids will have a way of really getting to know me in a way I don't
yeah,
think a lot of people get. And even just the listeners of this show will get to know me in a way that even maybe my closest friends wouldn't know me. Because
right.
if this goes on for the next 30 years, think of how many thousands of hours. And even with content creation like you do, if you do Twitch, anybody does any of those platforms and you're just putting out hours of content, people are going
Yeah,
to have an idea about you and get to know you in a way that most people throughout time haven't been able to.
yeah, and I mean with music too, like
That's
music
another
too,
expression.
like I see music ultimately as like a therapy at this point. Like I would never like get like if you listen to that at any point, like it is a lot
I'm
of the
definitely going to
themes.
listen to this.
Yeah,
I'm excited. I'm going to have to dig out a CD player.
yeah, you don't got one in your car or anything, or
You know I do. My truck's an '01.
you definitely have a
I'm
CD
going to
player in
listen
there.
to it on the way home,
Oh yeah.
man.
Yeah, right on. There's a lot of like depressing themes in it, and it's like I would never like go to my friend and like or go to maybe I'd go to my girlfriend or something, but a lot I wouldn't go to the majority of the people in my life and like say any of the shit that I'm like saying in this music, you know. It's like very much like the only the only medium that anyone will ever get to hear me like talk like that in. You know, like I won't even like some of the shit I say in there I won't even say in like a video. It's like, you know, it's very personal and very real and honest. And I guess that is the like the only thing that I will like specifically and outright say about my music is that it is honest. Like I do like to play with themes of like nonfiction sometimes in my music, but ultimately my music is like other people have also told me too is my music is very like grounded in reality and like brutally honest almost to like a T, you know? It's like almost like whoa, this is like too fucking honest right now. And I try to stay true to that like in all the music that I create. And yeah, I'll play with like themes of like nonfiction and like you know, like speaking metaphors and like shit like that when I'm creating a song. But ultimately there's a point like part of it is coming from like a real like part of me as a person, you know. Um and that's what I like about music more than anything is I feel like it's the only medium like you know when I'm doing TikTok, when I'm doing videos like right now like talking like it's just like I'm a normal dude, but like when it comes to creating like a piece of like fucking content that people are gonna perceive like other than TikTok or other than the music that I make, like it's a persona to a like degree, you know. Even if it's not like even if it's not like a full on character, like there's some like elements of like this isn't who I really am into like the videos that I make.
Where do you
And
think that stems from? Is that just
I think
a desire to fit in at some point?
y- oh, definitely. I definitely struggled with like fitting, like as a kid, being like the only disabled kid, like that wasn't in like special ed classes and shit. Like being the only disabled kid, like in my class most of the time in my grade. Like definitely struggled with like fitting in and like wanting to fit in as a kid. And like definitely struggled with like a fear of missing out because of the condition I was like oh people don't want to bring me along people you know like people don't want to bring the cripple along and I almost started to lean into that with my content like oh no one likes the fucking cripple you know like the cripple it's not cool to be a cripple and shit like that and it definitely like yeah it's self-deprecating and it is at the end of the day a joke, but it definitely stems from a real part of me and like some sort of like it's like not like a trigger but like or a trauma response, but there is some real element there when I'm like making those jokes and like doing that shit.
It's humorous, but it's coming from a real place,
Hmm.
a a deep place.
Exactly, and like I think that so yeah, like I guess that's a like it's a totally different side of me that isn't like in my music because like I'll add comedic effects to my music every once in a while. I'll add like something funny that'll get like whoever's listening to be like, oh, that was fucking out of pocket or that was whatever. But for the most part, it's like, oh no, this is how I'm really feeling right now, and I want it to make you uncomfortable, and I want it to I want it to, either it makes you uncomfortable or like the other response I've gotten is like, damn, like I've never had anyone be able to like put that into words like how I'm feeling, and like you did that with that song, and like I like that was like too real, and so like I don't know. I guess it's just like different forms of like media or different forms of like creating. I show different sides of me, and I'm probably showing a different side of me right now in this podcast, like doing this. It's like any form of media or any form of creation that I do, like it's gonna show a different angle because we're not like one dimensional or we're not like two dimensional beings. There's lots of sides to us, lots of aspects to us that different things like bring out, I guess. And that's the thing that I appreciate about creating on like all these different like platforms and mediums is that like it all shows a different side of you.
Was that intentional with your music to expose that side of yourself, or did that just
It
come out?
it came out because a lot of it was more like the side that I talk about that still is like nonfiction. Like it was like neat. Like my first song, one of my first songs I wrote, it was like talking about peanut butter and like fucking Kim Kardashian eats a bunch of fucking peanut butter and that's why her ass is so fat and shit like that and like talking about like
Jesus.
yeah, that was the first song I ever wrote was
That's
called
why her
Peanut
ass is
Butter.
so fat.
Yeah. Or something like Kim Kardashian eats too much peanut butter. It goes straight to her thighs. She doesn't realize that she's hypnotized by the peanut butter. And I somehow still remember that, and I'm not. I don't know if I should be proud that I still remember that, but I still remember it. So, um, but yeah, a lot of my sorry, I got really off topic there. But a lot of my early music was really like not grounded in reality and who I actually am. It was like talking about like chicks and like fucking cars and like all the shit that was in the rap music that I was like listening to, like
Fitting
it
into
was
that
very much
persona.
like it was like yeah, I was like watching like all these like rap videos on like YouTube, like Vivo videos or whatever, and like watching them and being like, oh my god, I'm gonna rap like this, and all my songs early on were like that, and then one day like I was just rapping and like I think what really started like me rapping about like actual like real shit was you could still it's the first video on my Instagram or like the earliest wasn't the first thing I ever posted but it's the earliest thing on my Instagram that's like still up and it was like this like 10 toes down challenge which was like a freestyle challenge back in like 2016 or something and you rap about like pain and struggle and shit like that over this beat and I rapped about like being disabled and like being like like growing up like disabled and shit and like the like hardships that I had to face and it was very much like it was very on the nose like oh my god I am in pain I'm tortured like a lot of my shit now like it still comes from that place of pain and torture but it's more like metaphorical and shit and more like up for interpretation like you could look at it at face value or you could like interpret it however you want. It could be metaphorical, but this was very like on the nose. Like I went through this and this and this, and like I had it this rough, and I guess that's what triggered like the like oh maybe I should make some music like about some real shit. And not about like the shit that isn't even about the life that I'm living. But like I was a kid, so obviously like I wouldn't make shit like that now. That's like about some shit that I'm not even about. But like back then it was like back then it was like, I'm a kid, I'm impressionable, I want to rap about the shit that I see on TV or on the internet that I think is cool, you know. But that challenge was really what triggered like I should rap about some real shit. And from then on out, I mainly just made shit, unless it was coming from a satirical like sorry, from a satirical lens. Like I was rapping about some shit that like I was actually feeling, or I was making a song about some shit that like I actually felt. Um, and so really, that's what triggered that was like that challenge and like listen to that. It was like, oh wow, like I have this and like I can use it at my own will and it's at my disposal and like it was like untapped at that point, you know?
Pain is a weird thing
It is.
because pressure makes diamonds, but pressure also makes people kill themselves.
Yeah.
And
That's
there's
a
no
good quote. I
there's
shouldn't have laughed at that, but that's a good. Pressure makes
And-
diamonds, but pressure also makes people kill themselves.
and there's no delineating factor. What makes somebody great
Yeah.
in through the struggles that they had to endure might break somebody else.
Yeah.
And how do you know? How do you know what is too much for somebody to go through? My sister had this quote one time. She told me, and I don't remember if somebody I knew had recently killed themselves or if something had happened, and she kind of put a religious spin on it. She said, "I believe that God gives people what he thinks they can handle, and sometimes it's too much."
It's fair.
But that it's a weird thing because some people are great because of what they had to endure.
Right.
It makes them a better person, or it makes, not justifying it, not saying anybody wishes that for their
Right.
kids, but some people that didn't go through any struggle are assholes and nobody wants to be around them.
Most of it, like not everyone. I'll give people the benefit of the doubt, but most of the people that I've encountered in my life that have been the biggest assholes have been the ones that have had everything fucking handed to them and have never had to deal with like even like. And I that's something that I struggle with because I hate to come from that standpoint of like you don't fucking know what I've been through, you know, like you don't fucking know like the pain and like the struggle that I've been through, but also like in a sense like
You don't
it's
fucking
true.
know.
You don't fucking know. And that's like you're being a like fucking asshole right now because you don't fucking know because your life has basically been handed to you. You know, and like yeah, that's you know, and like and then there's other people like yeah, like that struggle turns some people great, but then other people it's just it weighs too much on them and it breaks them. So it's really like how much I like that. It's like how much is too much, you know? Like when like what is too much for someone to handle, and I guess that all comes down to the type of person at the end of the day too.
And it's an unfair system because you don't get a pick.
Mm-mm.
Nobody gets to decide how much hardship you're going to have in life
Yeah.
or what that scale is going to look like for you. You just keep moving forward.
Yeah.
And it piles up and you work through it, or it piles up and it breaks.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I don't know, and I guess that's why like it hasn't broke for me yet, and I feel like at some point there's a choice that you have to make there too, and that's not to like get people like that's not to like say that people where it did break or it was too much like it's their fault in any means, you know, by any means, but like I feel like at some point like there's definitely been times where I could have made a choice to let everything get to me and let it break me, or I could like turn it into something great, you know, and like that's been a choice that I've made for the most part, and even like now with like all the shit that I go through now, like I'm like okay, I could like let this get to me, and maybe it won't break in the sense of like I kill myself or I do something like that, but like I make a stupid decision or I let something get the best of me, or I could you know like keep my head held high and fucking like try to make the best of it and try to make something good out of it. And I guess that's just a choice you gotta make, you know. And
Yeah, it doesn't have to be that extreme. Not
It doesn't-
everybody that
yeah.
has a hard time kills themselves.
yeah,
Some people just go dark.
Go
and they
dark,
just,
yeah.
instead of looking at the world for the potential that it has and what it could be,
Yeah.
everything
Something flips
is
at some point.
it's all black.
Yeah.
They start seeing the world through this weird lens where everyone is a piece of shit, people suck, there's no point in any of that, and they just go inward.
And I'll say I'm definitely guilty of having moments where I've thought like that. And like I think
everybody has.
I think everyone's had a moment where they thought like that. Like everything fucking sucks. Like life sucks. Like what's the point? Like this shit sucks. But like I don't know. I don't like not having faith in people and not having faith that there's still like good out there in the world. You know? Um and I think just trying to like keep that in mind when you're going through shit, like hey, there's good shit in this world, like it's like yeah, this what I'm going through right now is shitty, and it might be shitty for a while, it might fuck some things up in my life, but there's still like good out there, and there's still like good shit out there for me. And I guess that's just something you have to remember. And like granted, and it's like that's not the case in every situation, because like people that do resort to like bad shit, like I'm sure like there's factors that play a part where it's like yeah, that's like the last road, that's the last open road available to them. It's just like I guess you're just always on a path, and it's all about like the turns that you take and shit.
It's every choice.
Yeah,
built
every
up over a
choice.
lifetime.
And that's the thing. It's like that's the thing I think about a lot of times. Is like, damn, if I would have never chose to like make videos or like do this or that, where would I be right now? Because I credit me like making content and like doing the shit I do a big part into why I stopped going to school and like I dropped out of college and shit. It's like if I wouldn't have never done that, I would have probably like still been pursuing a degree, and I'd be in a very different spot right now in life. Whether that's good or bad, that's the way I see it. It's like I made a choice there to do one thing over another, and whether I like it or not, that choice like put me on a different road in life. And it's like I don't know, it's just something to think about. I've been pondering that a lot more recently as I think of like my friends that are like in school or are doing other things in life. Like, damn, they really like they made a choice to do this and they're on a path and they're gonna see it play out in a way different way than I'll see it play out. And it's always about the choices that we make and shit. And I don't know.
I 1000% would be a shittier person if I did not do this podcast.
Yeah.
I feel pretty comfortable saying that.
And like I feel like I definitely would be a different person if I didn't make content. And I don't regret anything. Like I don't regret anything from the decision I made. Um One bit. I just think of like all the different ways that my life could have played out, because I could have like my life could have played out. I didn't make content, and then I lost the passion for everything else, and I just became like a mindless drone, like working and doing whatever, and lost all enjoyment and wanted to like fucking shoot myself every day or
That's
something.
what scares me.
You
How
know,
many people are in that spot
where it's
they
just
hate
like
what
you
they
were just like
do?
a cog in the machine, and like I could have totally gone that route if I didn't pick up a phone and start making videos, or pick up a mic and start making music. It's like that's the other thing. Like, damn, what if I decided to never like start writing music, or what if I decided to never like look into like studios to go to like start recording music? Like, where would my life be right now? You know?
Yeah, it's crazy how even in small moments, the decisions you make have those ripple effects.
Yeah.
And you look back and think, what if I zigged when I should have zagged, or what if I did
Exactly.
this and didn't go this way?
Yeah.
I think it's good to look back because it grants perspective in some regards. You just can't get hung up on the past. I've been there
Yeah.
when all you're doing is thinking, "Oh, I should have done this, or I should have gone this
Totally, and
way."
that's why, like, well, that's why I said, like, I definitely there are like regrets here and there with like the route that I've taken. Like, oh, I wish I looked into like doing this or that, like, or I wish I would have like reached out to this person to like do this. Like, maybe it would have opened a door. But it's like ultimately at the end of the day, I never know. You never fucking know, so you can't get too hung up on it. because you didn't do it, or even like, oh, I did do this and I wish I didn't, but like, what if you didn't and then you did something else that was like fucked up and bad, or like you fucked up some other way, you know? It's like, I don't know. It's like making decisions and like the roads that leads you down is a very like, I feel like that itself is a very windy road. It's a very windy conversation that could lead you to a lot of different conclusions. So it's just like, I don't know, chance and like, I don't know, like probability of things is like a whole. It's like a whole thing that like, I don't know. If you can't think too much on it because you'll just get your head tied up in knots.
It's all part of life.
Exactly.
It's
It's
all
got to
part of
go through
life.
the motions at some point.
Yeah. It's just a part of life. You make decisions and you course correct or you keep going,
Yeah.
and that's the moral of the story.
Yeah.
Is you just can't get bogged down. You can't. Regret is a silent killer, man.
It is.
You just have to keep, as long as you're moving forward and making decisions, I think you're on the right track.
Oh, definitely.
Doesn't mean you're going to be where you want to be right now,
Yeah.
but you're going to be closer than you were yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's like you can't think too much on the what ifs and whatnots, you know? It's just like, you gotta go for it. Go all in.
Just got to keep moving.
Yeah.
Too much thinking is important, but overthinking is a problem.
Yeah, definitely. For surely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Louis, man, that was a blast.
That
Thanks,
was awesome.
really. Thanks
That
for coming
was-
on. That was a hell of a lot of
That
fun.
was a great conclusion
Yeah,
to the
I
story.
feel like that was a
like we
great
talked
wrap.
about a lot of like, I don't know, just a lot of shit that's been on my mind that I've been pondering a lot, and I really appreciated that. I really appreciate you having me on here and shit. This was great.
Yeah, man, it
Yeah.
was a great time. We'll definitely have to get you back
Oh,
on.
totally, yeah.
Do you want to plug where people can find you, your music, your other TikToks, your other socials?
So, okay. So for TikTok, since I talk so much about TikTok, it's not Louis 2 and not Louis, you know, NOTLEWY 2 and not Louis, same spelling. And then as far as everywhere else, SoundCloud, Spotify, Instagram, Twitter, everything is just not Louis, NOTLEWY. I got an album, Orca, by Not Louis, and that's out now. And I got plenty of other music. I've been dropping shit consistently since like 2018 on every major platform. So I got plenty of shit, plenty of music. And I'm on YouTube too. I got Not Louis on YouTube, NOTLEWY once again. And so that's like a like it's like a trigger at this point, like NOTLEWY. It's so like
Rolls off
I've
the
had to
tongue.
spell it for people so many times that it just rolls right off the tongue. But yeah, that's where you can find me, just about everywhere.
And if people want to buy a CD, how do they do that?
NotLouis.com.
Not Louis.
NotLouis.com.
You got a
I got-
website.
that's
You're
the thing.
professional, man.
Okay, before I didn't tell that story about how I came up with the name of
Oh,
Not
end it
Louis.
on that. Well,
Yeah,
that's a
we'll
great
end on
ending.
that. So basically, like, Not Louis. So I went by Louis pre all of that shit, like 2018 and before. I was just like Louis. And I released music, and my at on Instagram was like Not Louis, and it was just like a basic thing, like when people say like have their at on Instagram, like it's Nick Flores or like not Nick Flores, you know. I don't know if I butchered your last name there or not, but
No, you're good.
you're good.
That's
Okay,
it.
yeah, and it's like it was just like, oh, I'm not Louis, but everywhere else, like Spotify and shit, I was Louis, and I was releasing music. Then one day, I had this motherfucker hit me up, and who's this some person? I had 1,000 followers at the time. This dude had like 5K or something, and he was like, "Yo, fool! Like you then releasing music under Louis, and like I also released music under the name Louis, and like I'm an OG. I've been at this shit for 20 plus years. I'm on a record label, and blah blah blah. Like you gotta have some respect for the OGs. Like blah blah blah. Like you know you're releasing music under my name, and like like I can't force you to keep doing it or whatever. But like you're never gonna succeed if like you keep your name as Louis, like you're just following like in my shadow." And then he said like I'm not gonna force you or whatever it is, like I'm on a label and like our lawyers will be like in touch with you if you keep doing this, cause like I guess like one of my songs like fucking popped up on his fucking like his like Apple Music or something, and he got all riled up about it, and like I was annoyed too, cause I'm like, damn, I don't want my fucking song popping up on this dude's fucking like
You guys are
Apple
fighting over
Music,
the name Louis.
literally, and so he's like, yeah, like he basically threatened a fucking lawsuit over me having the same name. Sorry, fucking bloated as shit right now. But he basically fucking almost like he threatened a lawsuit over having the same name as him. It's a name. It's
Imagine
like
thinking you own the name
it's
Louis.
a fucking name, and he fucking was pressing me about that, and so kind of as a troll, I changed it to. It was already my Instagram handle, so it was just convenient. I was like, "Oh, not Louis," because it's like, "Oh, I'm not Louis," I'm not this guy, I'm me. But also like it was my Instagram handle, and later on it became more of a metaphorical thing. It's like, oh, I talk about not having like a sense of self and like an idea of who I truly am, even though like in reality, like talking to me, it's obviously like I fucking know who I am and I know who I want to be. Um, but it was like, oh, I don't have the sense of who I am, and so it became like I'm like not Louis because I don't feel like myself, and so like that became like the artistic like metaphorical reason that I gave, but really it was just like some fucking dude on the internet that was like pressing me about some dumb shit.
That's a good story.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah, fuck that
Yeah,
guy. Fuck
I think
Louis.
I think that's great, man. Not
Yeah,
Louis.
not Louis. Yeah, so that's how I got the name, and that's a story I will never get over telling, because it's rich. It's just so funny how someone could have such an ego over having a fucking name.
And now when you blow up, not Louis, it's just gonna dive that knife a little deeper.
Exactly. Get it in there. Yeah.
All right, well, Louis, you're a bad motherfucker, man. I really enjoyed talking with you.
I really appreciate
We'll
this. This
we'll
is
definitely do
awesome.
this again.
Hell yeah,
All right.
definitely.
Thank